Hey, it's Ben with Upstart HR here again, and today I want to talk about how to get your employer to pay for your certification. Hey, that would be pretty sweet. I mean, most of us would probably feel a little bit, maybe just a little bit uncomfortable asking them to pay for that. So, especially now, things are kind of tight, a little bit tough on the money side for a lot of companies, and training budgets are small or non-existent. So, how are you going to get them to pay for that thing? You want it, and in the other videos, I kind of talked about how you can use it for your career and leverage it and get farther with it, but um, it still has to be paid for, really. And if you're going to go with something like, I don't know, the SHRM Learning System is going to run you $800. So, it's not exactly cheap to go out there and get certified. So, what are you going to do? Well, I have a few ideas and tips and things to help you to increase the chances of your employer saying yes when you go to them and kind of say, throw me some money so I can take this exam. Um, there are a few little ideas I have that will help you along the way, so take some notes. Number one, you need to make it about them. I talked about you in video number 2 and how this thing could help you in your career, and it was all about you. Well, when you're going to your employer, it should not be all about you. It should be all about them. Hey, I get certified and I can do this better. I'll be able to do this. I'll be recertifying and taking continuing education courses and classes and seminars and everything else. I'll be reading and studying more, and it's a real incentive for me to be better as an HR professional overall. How does that impact the company? You're going to be able to, I don't know, there are dozens of different ways that you could pitch this to them. It can be individual to you, what your role is, what your responsibilities are, and just say, hey, I'll be able to do X better, and because of that, it will save the company money, or our department will be more efficient. Just whatever. It's all got to be all about them, though. Show them the benefits of it, and that's going to increase the chances of them actually wanting to pay for it. What else? Well, I made some notes. I do have notes. I don't like speakers that use notes, but there were some facts and figures and things I wanted to get correct. Turns out, according to some research by the HR Certification Institute, 63% of employers pay for their employees to get certified, their HR people to get certified. So only 37% of people actually pay for their own. So there's already, a good chance, the statistics are on your side, that they'll be willing to pay for it. So that's nice. Let's see. There are some different ways that you can kind of split this. If there's just no money in the budget, or they just say we can't do it, then you can go back, kind of counter with, okay, well, you don't have to pay for all of it. Here are some ideas that can, you'll have to share a little bit of the cost burden maybe, but at least it will prove to them that you have some skin in the game, that you are really willing to go for this, and you're not just expecting them to pay for something that you're not even going to take advantage of. I had a lot of people do that kind of thing. If you had friends in college who weren't paying for it themselves, you might have seen them goofing off a little bit. And when people actually have to pay for it and have to put the effort into it and everything, then they're willing to really take it seriously. So the most obvious one, say, hey, I'll go in 50-50 with you. You pay for half, the company pays for half, and like I said, that shows them that you're committed to it. But maybe you could negotiate with them later. Say, hey, if I pass the exam, would you be willing to pay the other half? They might be able to give you like a one-time bonus just to cover that half that you paid out in the beginning. So that's one easy way to do it. Start a study group. I don't know if you've ever heard of the benefits of studying with a group, but you have some motivation, some accountability. There are other people in there that are going to be asking you how your studies are going, and you're not just off by yourself doing whatever. It's harder to get bogged down and everything. It's harder to be down over the whole study thing when there are people that are they're cheering you on, encouraging you, and kind of in the same boat with you. Um, I missed out on that experience when I was studying, but I was still emailing back and forth with people all the time because I did not want to be, in my little bubble and doing it myself with no outside support, because that's really, really tough. Anyway, start a group. You can share that among the people there. If you have 2 or 3 people in the group, you can share the cost, so that's nice. Most certification tools come with a set of books or something like that, or maybe a CD that you can share back and forth. No one's going to be reading 6 books at the same time, so you can look at that. Another place to go is to check out eBay and some HR forums and stuff online, because you'll find people that are willing to sell their old stuff, last year's things for a couple $100s off. And I mean, it's still, like I said, you're starting at $800 for a new Sherm Learning System. $600 isn't exactly cheap. If you go with something like HRCP, I have the discount code, and you can get it for like less than half of the Sherm thing. So I mean, there are different ways that you can do that. But looking at eBay and forums and stuff where people are selling their old ones, that you might be able to get some bonuses in there. They might have 2 or 3 study resources that they're just packaging all together because they want to get rid of it and forget that they ever studied for the thing. Or maybe I don't know. You can get one much cheaper though. And one of the questions that people usually ask about that is it okay if I use a study guide or something that's a year or 2 old? And I tell people yes. I mean, if it's from 1980, maybe you need to look at getting a newer copy. But it's not like they're going to be asking you questions about the Colonial Stamp Act and other things that are way historical. Most of the labor laws happened in the last 50 years or so. The big ones you should know. If you don't, I mean, there are a handful of cases that are really big, and most of the things that happened in the last couple of years are not going to be on the exam yet. I'm not saying they won't, but I studied for like 4 hours on all the different laws, and I memorized them and everything, who won and what they're about. And I had like 2 law questions on my exam, so I know that's different for everybody, but it's not really that big of a deal if you get one that's just a couple years out of date. If you want to brush up on the other legal stuff that happened in the last couple of years, that's fine, but it's not that big a deal really. So anyway, those are a few tips for how to get your employer to pay for it, or to just help you out with the cost of the whole thing, because with money tights, I completely understand. Same here, and I want you to do it if that's what you really want. So those are just a couple ways. If you have some suggestions or ideas, feel free to leave a comment. I'd love to hear them, and thank you for stopping by, guys.